Hey folks, it's Rithgar here, how you doing? Welcome back to Dutch Polder here on Farming Simulator 17. Our planting is going absolutely wonderfully, and also our cultivating is doing really well as well. If we go over to that one, this one over here, he's coming to the end of the field, he's turning round, he's going back again. It's doing absolutely perfectly, so it only seems to be some fields that struggle with the AI vehicle extension. It's not all of them. It is, occasionally the field boundaries seem to be out a little bit. But that's fine, because if we do have a field like that, then instead of using this AI extension that we're using for this one, we can just use the standard AI like I'm doing with this one. And then I can simply go around and I can do a bit of a tidy up on the field at the end on the outside round. So that's all going well. I'm really pleased with that. What I'd like to do is I want to get this field here. This one's being planted with wheat, and we're going to get that one finished in there. And this one here is being cultivated, but we're not going to do anything with the cultivated field until the spring. That one's going to be done with corn or maize, depending where you are in the world. That one right there. And we call it maize here in the UK. Regardless of what it's used for, it's still called maize. But I noticed that we've also got these fields down here, and I was thinking, well, maybe we should do something with these fields. Now, what could I do with those fields? So if we go and have a look a minute, these can carry on just doing what they're doing. We are going to fast forward through into winter fairly soon, and we'll see what happens. We'll see what happens on this map with snow and stuff like that. But just for a minute, what I want to do is I want to take our fence right here with our absolutely awesome, very muddy, poor little minion there on the front. And we're going to go around here. So we own these fields. Now, looking at the pattern in the actual field, it's got the cultivated texture underneath the stubble texture. What that's going to, it's going to mean the same as what it meant for the other field, in that we're not going to be able to do very much with it. We're going to have to do it with a direct drill. We're not going to be able to do anything else. Now, field 19 was planted with 2 separate crops. That's fine. We can just carry on with that. I was wondering whether to do these into just one great big field. If I was to go and get a plough and just plough up the line between there, and also along the edge of 18 there, I mean, it would probably mean buying 21 and 22, and then we can do this as one big field. We've got a bit of a boundary there. I'm not going to worry about going all the way up there, but we could just turn that into one great big field. I don't think that something like that is something that's done very commonly, though, in the Netherlands, in Zealand. I'm really not sure about that, but we're just going to go down and take a look at the prices of these fields. We've got 266,000 at the moment. Let's see if our budget could allow for getting a little bit more. I don't really know on that point. My weekly question, or rather my monthly question, is obviously which map do we go to next? It's going to be our final 4-week stint, and if there is an extra week or two, we will stay on that map rather than moving to a new one. So it's going to be the final map of FS17. We can stay right here. Now, what is this one? Okay, good gravy. That's 267,000. That's a little bit pricey. The prices is higher than I thought they'd be. Let's go back to our tractor a minute. We'll drive up the road. Well, it doesn't really matter what the other one is. We can't afford this one, so we're not going to bother. Yeah, so do you want to stay here on Dutch Polder for the final 4-week stint? Do you want to go to the Tyrolean Alps in Western Austria? Do you want to go to, hang on, I better get my list now, I've forgotten what the other 3 are. Lone Oak Farm, which is the one that is not in Ontario in the US, because Ontario is not in the US. Ontario is in Canada. This one here is in Oregon in the US. Oregon. Lone Oak Farm is in Oregon in the US, I think it is. Someone's going to tell me it's in Ohio now, and not Oregon. The more I think about this, and the more I try to explain it, the more confused I become. It's not good. Anyway, we're moving on. The other one is Dowland Farm. I know where that one is. That's in Yorkshire, Northern England. I'm familiar with that one. And then we've got Shamrock Valley, which is in Southern Ireland. So it's your vote, it's your game. Head into the comment section down below. Let us know which one you want and why. And of course, don't forget to actually cast your vote in the top right-hand corner. And I will say, the votes at the moment, it is between Tyrolean Alps and staying right here in Dutch Polder. I'm personally very pleased about this because I admit, been trying to influence the vote a bit. I do sometimes I don't, sometimes I do. So this time I have been trying to influence the votes, and I would like to spend the final 4 weeks on the Tyrolean Alps. I really like this map. It is, at the moment, a very close call between this one and the Tyrolean Alps. I like the Alpine map. It seems a little bit different to any others that we've played, and I think it would be very cool to try something a little bit different for the last 4 week stint. And I don't know, a lot of you seem to have sort of realised that I do actually quite like smaller maps because they're more similar to farms that I've worked on and grew up on. So I tend to have a slightly softer spot for the smaller maps. But yeah, the Tyrolean Alps is something about that one that I particularly like. That being said, I really don't mind which one you vote for. I've only picked maps that I personally want to play. So vote for whichever one you like, but at the moment it is a very close call between the Tyrolean Alps and staying here on Dutch Polder. I didn't actually mean to jump over the fence then. I've now got to walk all the way around. And unless a significant number of people change their votes and vote for one of the other three, voting for one of those other three is not likely to come to very much. I'm saying this because I was actually asked to when we were working on the last map in Stappenbach, and some people suggested that maybe I should be sort of letting you know how the votes are going so votes aren't wasted. So at the moment, it's very much between this one and Tyrolean Alps. The other three have not got a look in unless something significant changes. But yeah, like I said, it's your vote, it's your game. Now then, I would like to get from in here, first of all, I'm thinking, even if it's not particularly realistic, I do like the idea of very quickly going round and just joining a couple of those fields together. So we're going to use the very biggest Jimper plough. This is basically it's a subsoiler, so I'm going to use that one for doing it. I will buy that. No, I'm going to lease that one. It was suggested to me last week as well that I should lease more machinery. I come in and I buy this big machinery, and I quickly use up the million that I'm turning up to the farm with. And it would be more accurate if I was to turn up and I was to lease machinery using that million in order to get the farmer on the right track. And then it's up to him if he wants to keep working with the machinery that he's got, or if he wants to upgrade stuff and take out loans and so on himself. And that would be a more accurate way of doing it. I like this idea, and this is something I'm going to use moving forwards. If we're able to continue this series right from the start, doing this sort of approach right from the start of FS19, then I will. I suspect, though, that we're going to spend the first few months working on a single map in FS19, and then we will move on to something a little bit bigger a little bit later on. But we'll just sort of see what happens with that. So I'll bring this one over here. And I'm going to lower that one. I'm going to press Y to allow create fields. I'm going to go forward a little bit more, and I'm going to lower it down there so that I can see where it goes to. And right, get a rough idea there, because I don't like it going too far out. There, that's squared it up quite nicely. So this may not be very realistic for this kind of region, but I'd like to do this as a big field just because it's going to be a little bit easier for doing the planting and so on. It's unlikely that we're going to be able to do any actual harvesting on this field, but I figured if I could get something in place for at least doing the planting, it would be pretty cool, and have the fields planted out before we leave the map. We've got a week and a half. That's all we got left now, and what my plan is, we've got a little bit of planting and stuff going on. Actually, no, what I wanted to do was, we've got the Valtra T-Series is going up there at the moment. And if we just take a quick look on here, see where he's working to at the minute. We're going to do the ploughing here on this field. We're going to go out and we're going to join that field together. We're not going to do anything on the edge of those two down there. And then we're going to join that field together along there, so that this becomes one big block. And then, in the spring, we will do some planting down here on this field. With a bigger plough. With a bigger planter. I'm not sure yet what planter I'm going to use. I don't think we'll go for something in the big bud pack, because I think that is a little bit too big for this region. I don't think you'd get something that enormous. But I do think that, you know, we could come down like the Amazon condor type approach. That, I believe, is quite realistic for this sort of region. And at the moment, I'm not quite sure. And yeah, as I said, I don't think that this is a particularly realistic approach. But I mean, the actual subsoiling itself would be, but whether or not farmers would do this and farm a great big field, I suspect not. I suspect that having the strips of fields, you know, the big long strips of fields, and then farming lots of different crops is done. You know, the crop rotation in an area where mineral leaching is quite a serious thing, I suspect that it's going to be quite important to have a good crop rotation as well. So I don't imagine that the fields are done absolutely enormous like this on a very regular basis, or if at all. At least that's my theory anyway. I'll just lower that down there. I do come up with a number of theories with this game and with different regions. One thing that I always pride myself on, or try to pride myself on, is giving accurate information. Which is why I'm particularly ashamed of my performance in the last couple of weeks with the whole Denmark and Netherlands, Holland confusion. I should, you know, that's actually something that I know, and I am particularly ashamed of my saying that. And then also Ontario. I know that Ontario's in Canada, and I didn't pick up on myself saying it. So I am particularly ashamed of that, and I do feel that I should make amends. And I've actually remembered, right, Udo Major has been asking me for weeks now to try to pronounce the German name for the biomass plants. And I've committed this to memory. I've looked at what he's written, and he has been kind enough to actually spell it out for me phonetically, because when I first looked at it, I thought it said, I thought it would have been pronounced something along the lines of biomass heights Kraftwerk. No. It's actually, to say the biogas plant in the German name is no, this is the big test, is whether or not I've actually got this right. Okay, so Udo, this is all on you. You're the teacher here, and you've written it out, you've spelled it phonetically for me, so we'll see. If I get this wrong, I'm going to blame you as the teacher. Okay, I'm just putting that out there. Right, Biomasse heißt Kraftwerk. No, not work. Where? You said where, not where. So, Biomasse heißt Kraftwerk. Have I got it? Biomasse heißt Kraftwerk. Please tell me I've got that right. Biomasse heißt Kraftwerk. I'm hoping I've got that right, because that's apparently is a biomass plant in German. I really hope I've got that right. I spent quite a long time looking at it and going over it and reading what he'd written, and right, I've got this, and I've been saying for weeks I'm going to say it in a video. I'm going to say it in a video, and now I've done it. Biomasse heißt Kraftwerk, and it's Werk. I was reading it wrong, and I always forget with the German pronunciations that if there's an e on the end of the word, it's pronounced as so, you know, like Porsche and Krampa and Biomasse. Although it's just one long word. It's Biomasse heißt Kraftwerk, but Werk. Yeah. Have I got that right? Please tell me. I really want to, like, you know, I have sort of mentioned the whole TARDIS effect before, you know, the whole time travel effect. where you watch in the future what I've done in the past, and I'm talking about days, you know, something is going to happen tomorrow for me, but is in the past for you. Now I really want the whole time travel thing so I can find out if I've done this right. I'm going to have to wait for like 2 whole days for this. Actually, no, today's Monday, and you're going to see this on Tuesday, so tomorrow afternoon. Day and a half. I got a day and a half to wait to find out if I got this right. I'm actually, you know, I don't know. I'm excited and nervous because I'm really not sure if I've done it right or not. Anyway, next plan. We're taking this one back and we're getting a seed drill. Now I'm going to go and get the Amazon Condor, because that's a nice big seed drill, and I have seen footage of an Amazon Condor being used in this region. I'm sure of it. I'm 99% sure that I've actually seen real-life footage of an Amazon Condor being used in this region. So that would be quite realistic. It was very likely being pulled by a Fendt tractor. I've seen a lot of Fendt tractors in footage for this particular region, so that I'm quite happy about. It could also be the Case Quad Track. I've seen plenty of those being used in this region. And when I say I've seen them being used in this region, I've never actually visited here in real life. I would like to. There are many places in the world I'd like to see in real life. Probably never get to very many of them at all. But I have seen it on YouTube videos. Now, I've had people say, well, why don't you travel? One, it does cost money, and contrary to popular belief, unless YouTubers are like really big with millions of subscribers, we're not wealthy people, okay? I'll just put that out there right now, just to sort of eliminate any wild theories that people may have. YouTubers are not very wealthy people at all, right? This is something that you do for love of the job rather than love of money. And yes, there are YouTubers who have millions of subscribers who make a fortune, but generally speaking, if you've not got millions of subscribers, then no, we're not wealthy people. So traveling the world is not currently something that's on the cards, and also my personal circumstances would mean it would be very, very difficult to organize that. But that being said, oh, hang on a minute. Before we go rushing off, yeah, that being said, I would like to visit. There are a number of places in the world that I would like to visit. There are quite a few different places I'd like to go and see, and this is one of them. This is one. I'd love to travel all around Europe. One of the things that I was planning to do many years ago. Ooh, what's going on now? Oh, I see. He's come up here. He's actually doing really well. He's doing a really good job. And yes, even though he has gone into the neighbour's field, he's doing all right. Neighbour's probably going to be upset about that because I'm busy cultivating in his young crops. We'll just pretend that that didn't happen. That was someone else. It wasn't me. Someone else came along here and did that. That's how you fall out with your neighbours. That is properly how to fall out with your neighbours. Right. I'll let him carry on there, and we're going to come down here. How much have I got left on that field there? Because what I was thinking of doing was fast-forwarding this until winter now, to just sort of see if we could still plant during the winter, because we've already got this field here in 2 separate growth stages. So 2 separate growth stages wouldn't really worry me. I think I might do that. We'll do that as we go along. Yeah, many years ago, I was planning on doing some backpacking. I was saving up some money, and there were 2 things that I wanted to do. One was I wanted to walk the Great China Wall, and don't just mean go to the big bits where all the tourists go to. I mean walk it from one end to the other. I was saving up money, and I was planning it was going to take a year. I planned out quite a bit for this. It was going to take a whole year. I was going to walk from one end to the other, stopping off at different points for, you know, several weeks at a time, so that I could properly see and experience a huge, great big chunk of China. I've always been fascinated with China and the number of different cultures in the different regions as you sort of move along, and walking the Great China Wall I thought would have been an absolutely fascinating, amazing experience, and so I was planning on it taking a year. And I also wanted, before I went to China, to spend a year traveling around Europe in a kind of working holiday. I've been on farms most of my life, so I wanted to try and work in a number of different countries around Europe doing agricultural work. We're working on various different farms in different countries around Europe, finding, you know, go from all the way from Spain, all through the Alps, and you know, some of the wide open plains and more closed forest lands, and just everywhere. I wanted to go and experience all these different things in Europe. Work on, you know, places that produce large quantities of sugar beet or potatoes like this, you know, the big flat lands like this. This is completely alien to me, this is. Working in you know, vineyards, and, you know, spending some time working there, and just to try to experience life in a country that I've never actually lived in, and in countries, and go round the continent of Europe and just see how farming compared to my own life and my own experiences and what I'd seen of farming. And I thought it'd be an absolutely fascinating experience. It was ultimately one that, you know, both of these things never actually came to fruition, because I met Zenleia and we settled down and started raising a family instead. So maybe one day in the future is something that I will do, but it was a plan that I had that never actually happened. And it's something I would like to do. I never actually had any plans to go to the US. I've had several people say to me since I started doing this that they would like me to come to the US, visit them in the US, and, you know, see different places, and also in Canada. I've been to Australia, and I lived in New Guinea for a few years. I've never actually been over to New Zealand, even though I was fairly close when I was down there, but no, I never actually went to New Zealand. So New Zealand is, of all the different countries around the world, New Zealand is probably more similar to where I live in the UK, or large chunks of New Zealand, than a lot of other areas in the world. And so I'd probably be able to adapt to life in New Zealand more quickly than a lot of other places. Now, the big question that we have next is, once I skip the night, which is what I'm about to do, will I be able to still keep planting? And the reason I was getting that big Amazon condor over there was so that I could start helping this one do some planting. I was just going to run a few strips up the other side of the field, but I'm starting to think that I may not want to do that. I'm not really sure. We'll leave that one going there a minute, and we'll come over here. So that one's got a little bit to go yet. This one right here, I'll close that down and just switch that off. The pigs over this way, they're gonna need cleaning. We got a lot of food that's being tipped out onto the floor, but we'll skip the night a minute. So we go Alt-N, and we will skip until dawn. We'll go all the way until 8 o'clock in the morning. We very quickly press that button so that we don't get any issues. Now, the trailer is starting to twitch a bit because of all the food that is currently on the floor. Let's have a look. We've got 6,000 in vehicle leasing. We've got 2,800 in vehicle running costs. Hopefully that is going to still turn all right. The temperature of the ground is still above freezing, so there shouldn't be... No, there's no issues. It's still able to keep planting despite the time of the year and when we're actually doing the plant, yeah, and so on, because the ground temperature is still above freezing. It's when the ground temperature gets to below freezing that you then start to have some issues. So we're gonna have to leave that just for a minute. Hopefully the ground temperature will pick up fairly quickly, and I'm gonna leave time ticking forward fast at the moment. Now, what are you doing? Why have you come over here? I'm not sure what this one's doing now. Might be because it turned, or it might be because we've come to the end of the field. It does seem to be getting a little bit confused right there, having just reached the end of the field. But it's done the whole of the rest of the field, cultivated it all up properly. Quite frankly, I'm impressed. I didn't actually think it would be able to do that properly anyway. So let me just press H on there, and we'll see if he will go down and do the final run down through. And he is heading off down through. So this field has now been cultivated. This field is done. or it will be once he gets down the other end. That's excellent. So that's that one taken care of. And I'm going to quickly move that one. Actually, no, I'm not going to use this tractor. I'm going to just quickly go to you. I'm going to unhitch that one right there, and I'm going to flip round. We're going to pick up the trailer there and move that one out the way. And then we could do with just cleaning these pigs up. I don't have a bucket. I don't have a bucket here, which we could do with if we're going to clean the pigs. So we have to try something different. Let's just move you out the way a minute. So we got there's a huge amount of grain there on the floor. And we'll also check the pigs a minute, because we're probably going to need to put more straw in for them. Yeah, right. So corn is actually completely empty now. And straw is very low. So they use a huge amount more straw in the winter than they do for the rest of the year. And then, obviously, we've got somewhat... Water is not so bad. So we're going to need... We want something to clean that with. I'm thinking that just a standard... cleaning thing would be pretty good. You know, the ones that the cleaning robot. Thinking that maybe just a cleaning robot would be a good idea. Now, yep, I do have a thing here. Can I come out here? Now, we've got a bucket back here. We could use that. You are coming up, and that field is now done. Right. We're not going to need this cultivator anymore, and so we're also not going to need the quad track either. Ooh, great demand at crop depot for sugar beets. Nice. Right, let's just take a look at that a minute. How much are we being offered for sugar beet? 345. I think that's about as good as we're going to get for sugar beet full stop. So let's just stop you a minute, and I'm going to stop this one now, fast forwarding, at 3:45. I'm going to return both of these. I don't think we're going to use them anymore. We don't actually have a need for them at the moment. So we'll return that one. There we go. And we'll also return the case quad track. There. So that's that one done. The only one that we've got left now is this one up here. And I'm just going to leave that one going for a minute, because we've got some other work now that we want to do. So we don't need to worry about the Amazon condor. I probably could have left that one until the spring. Although before we do that... I'm going to want to go, well, I need straw that we've got to put in for the pigs, and we're going to want food that we want to put in for the pigs there, and I also want to get this corn cleaned up here. So if I run back home and get the bucket a minute, we should be able to do something with that. The field that we've just cultivated, in the spring, we want to plant corn on, or maize on that one. And then the other fields, now we've got here wheat and barley. We're going to be planting corn or maize. And I was told, because I said, oh, I thought about maybe doing some sunflowers or something. But I was told, actually, it's very unusual to see sunflowers in the Netherlands. There, you know, tulips you see loads of. You know, it's famed for tulips. So we know that I know that you grow tulips. I didn't realise you didn't really grow sunflowers, and there are other crops that are grown. I don't know about soybeans, but I do know that OSR, or oilseed rape, or canola, whichever you want to call it, depending on where you are, where you're from in the world, I do know that that is grown in Zealand. So we're going to plant that field over there with that, because we need it for the pigs anyway. We've got the wheat and barley right here, but we also need a protein feed, which has got to be the soybeans, the sunflower seeds, or the OSR, the canola. So if we do that massive field that we've made as canola, we've then got all the basic things taken care of. We've got maize growing in the fields directly opposite. The only thing that we may struggle with is that that field may not be quite big enough to provide maize for a whole year's supply. I doubt that's going to be an issue, though. I think there is more than enough there to keep us going for the whole winter. I think we'll be for a year. I suspect that we've got plenty in there. So let's just pick this up a minute, like that, and there is a lot of food on the floor. Now, one thing that is a game bug rather than anything else is the fact that you can put grain into here and not put any maize in, and then it tips maize out to the front. So, you know, it doesn't really matter what you put in here. you can scoop maize up off the front. So you do get like a continual supply of maize being provided for your pigs. There's not enough to keep them constantly in maize, so if you've got like the feeder robot going, it's still not enough to provide them with all the maize they need. But there is actually, it is a bit of a bug, and I don't like it. Personally, I don't like it. I would prefer that it dropped the grain that was there. I know that would mean that there would be mixed grains going in, or that if you didn't provide maize, then it gave you a slightly more severe penalty than we get at the moment. Because you look here, I'll show you. Our penalty at the moment, we've got a 25% hit on health, and that is, it says 50% base food there, 25, 20, and 5. That's to do with the food and the water. You lose 25% by not having the corn in there. And I think that it should actually be a bit more than that. So it stops putting food out the front, but this goes up. That it becomes more than 25%, just to sort of represent it. I don't know. It's difficult to decide what would be a good balance, but I just don't like the fact that you get free maize being generated out the front of that thing when you don't actually have any maize going in there in the first place. So let's just drop that one down, and we do need to get a bit more straw, like I said, so if we can get a few bales of that going in. And we also want to get some... I'm not going to sell all the sugar beet. We do need some sugar beet. Actually, at the moment, we don't. I'll tell you what. Let's stop you a minute. Let's do this, because we haven't done this before. We're going to go over to the pig food over there. And we're going to get one thing of pig food. And, you know, I should have some lights on. It's a bit dull at the moment. Dull and dreary here, isn't it? We go over to you, and we start filling. So we're just going... It's pure pig food that's going in here. Interested to see how much the entire trailer load will be. It should snap up with a price once it's finished filling, just to let us know how much we're going to spend on this. If it does, excellent. And I will get a... I'm going to fill the trailer up completely, and then we can see how much we pay for it. It's quite slow filling up, but I actually kind of like that. The only thing that's missing from this model of this tank is like an auger, an overload type situation. And there we go, 21,700. So we're paying 21,700 euros for one trailer load of complete mixed feed. This is everything that the pigs need for their diet. Now, in theory, I tip this out, it should fill up all of the bars apart from straw and water. In theory. I don't know if it actually does. I've never used the whole mixed pig feed. I've never actually used it before. So let's just have a look right here. Let me go to there and then immediately jump to here, and it's filling all of them up. We've got sugar beet going in. We've got the canola and everything. We've got that one, and we've got the corn going in as well. Okay, that's brilliant. It's filled each and every single one of them all the way up. We got 4,200 litres left in the trailer, which is a bit of a shame because I kind of need the trailer now. What am I supposed to do with this? I don't think I can store it in that facility there. There are facilities that we can buy that we've got multi-storage in, but I don't think I can store this in here, and I don't think there's anything that I can do to sell it either. Let me... Oh, it does. It goes right in there, so... Right, straw we're going to need. We'll worry about straw in a minute. We want to take a trailer load of this. I don't have the other trailer. Let me just have a look under here a second and see. Is this actually stored? All of it. So we got wheat. Oh. No, I didn't have wheat and stuff in here before. So what do we got? Soybeans there. Corn is empty. Potatoes. Sugar beet. Pig food. Oh, it does. It actually has pig food base. Wait a minute. What's the difference between the two? Hay pellets, soil, sand, pig food grain, pig food protein. Wait, what? Okay, I don't really understand why that's classed as pig food for the different sections. That doesn't make a lot of sense to me. Let's not worry about it too much. Right, 345 euros per 1,000 litres. Now, if we press Alt-S to get the seasons menu up, and we have a look at sugar beet, the first part of winter is actually when you're going to get the best possible price for sugar beet anyway. and we're getting a very good price for sugar beet right now. Now, Helper D has completed their task. I very much doubt that they've actually completed their task. I suspect that what they've done is they've gone, I'll tell you what, let's be efficient with this. I suspect what they've done is they've finished one section of the field and they haven't actually finished all of it. But we're going to be efficient. We're actually going to be efficient, just for a change. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go and park underneath this one here, there, and I'm going to take the sugar beet there, and I'm going to start filling that one, and then while that one's filling, then I'm going to go over this way, and I'm going to go and see you right there, who hasn't actually finished anything at all. You've just decided to park up in the middle of the field. I thought as much. We're going to bring you up to right there, and I'm just going to press H, and you're going to start again. You're going to do that little bit there. Very good, very good. I'm very pleased with you. I'm very pleased with your performance so far. 31,000. We could do with that huge, great big trailer that we were using. I was told some people thought that that wasn't a particularly realistic trailer to use in this region. But conversely, other people thought that that big trailer I was using was actually realistic, and they have seen the odd trailer that kind of size. One thing that I did do that wouldn't normally be done was take the sugar beet direct from the field to the store. Although, having looked into that a bit, because of the distance involved with travelling, I feel that that was, because the fields that are close to the store, very often they are taken straight back. It's only the ones that are further away, they would be stockpiled on the edge of the fields, so the trailers are literally just running from the machine to a stockpile on the edge of the fields and dumping them there, or a collective stockpile that is shared by a few fields very close to the road, and then you would come in a little bit later on with the huge great big sugar beet picker-upper thingy. You know the ones we've got two in this game now, one the roper one and one the Holmer one. That comes along and it loads them into lorries or trucks, whatever you want to call them, that sit on the side of the road, and then they carry the stuff away, which is absolutely awesome. And it does. I've seen videos of that all in action, and it does look very impressive. Now, which way am I supposed to be going? I go that way. Where is the sale? Oh, it's down there. There's the crop depot. That's the one we want. Helper B has completed their task. And we're going past the Biomasse Heizkraftwerk. Did I say that right? Biomasse Heizkraftwerk. I think I did. This is. I'm still quite excited about this. Find out whether or not I got this right. I'm going to be very disappointed with myself. I can feel that I'm just setting myself up for a bit of personal disappointment. That this is what's going to happen. I'm just going to leave that one there a second, and I'm going to skip over here. Right, so we've got a little bit there that needs still to be done. In order to just do that little bit quickly, what I'll do is I'll go there and press H on there and let him carry on that bit. And then I will run back to this one, and we'll keep going until we get the helper has finished their task again. And then we can move over to the other little snippet that's the other side of the farm that still needs to be planted. That'll all be taken care of, and then in tomorrow's episode we've got some bales to put in for the pigs. The rest of the food should be good for the rest of winter for the pigs, and the only other thing really that we need to do is to get through winter so that we can then get on with the spring planting. You would obviously come onto the weighbridge. So we've got right here 30,933. It looks like we've already come in and set the scales on this one, because it looks like we're just weighing the sugar beet, aren't we? I'm not actually sure. I don't know if we're just weighing sugar beet or not. Right, so bring that one to there. 345. Yeah, that the helper is finished. I just want to tip these out because I want to see what we're going to get. So there we go. We've got that one's tipping out and doing a grand job all the way out. There's something about that trailer when it's tipping. It looks really good. So we got 10,700 for that one trailer full, and we got 9 trailerfuls in storage. I'm not going to use all of them, but I reckon that we could at least do 3 or 4 of them, because that's a lot of money. That is quite a big chunk of money that we're talking about, isn't it? And swing this one round like this and drop that into the ground like that, because obviously if you're planting, you'd hammer this thing sideways and every other which way, and no, you really wouldn't. You wouldn't. I'm supposed. always do it, but this is supposed to be at least a reasonably realistic series, and I'm supposed to at least explain when I'm not doing things realistically. So hammering it round a corner like that is not really the way to behave. So I ought to apologise for that. I really should. So just remind me. I'll get on that at some point, and I'll come back and apologise. Yeah, there you go. There's my apology, telling you I might do it at some point. I seen something the other day which really made me chuckle, and that was an apology, and it fits people that I know. And basically the apology went something along the lines of, I apologise that... no, it's, I'm sorry that your behaviour was so bad that it made me act out of character. You should really work on that. And that really did make me laugh, that did, because I know people who apologise like that every time. I really do. I know people like that. Mind you, I've also been in that situation where I've wanted to use just such an apology, and I probably have done when I shouldn't have. But yeah, there we go. The things we sometimes do in real life are altogether different to the things that we should or shouldn't do at various different times in our life. Why has Helper G completed their task? Helper G should not have... Oh. Okay, that was quite quick. I didn't expect him to turn around that fast. If I do this again, he should, in theory, now just do this job without any problems. If I bring you over to there and I press H again, like that, and you just go trotting up through there. There we go. You should, in theory, now turn round and keep doing this little patch without causing us any more issues. Right. We want to go to you. And I'm thinking one more load, but we're kind of running out of time for today's episode, so we'll have to do this in our next episode, selling at least one more load. My monthly question, where do you want us to go for our next 4-week stint? We have 5 maps, obviously. We've got staying here on Dutch Polder. We've got the Tyrolean Alps in Western Austria. We have got Lone Oak Farm, which is not in Ontario, which is in Canada. It is actually in Oregon in the US. I think it's in Oregon. I hope it's in Oregon. It begins with O. I'm sure it's not Ohio. I'm sure it is actually Oregon. But yes, it's in the US. It's not in Canada. We've got Shamrock Valley, which is based in Southern Ireland. And we've got Dowland Farm, which is based in Yorkshire, which is Northern England. So it's your vote, it's your game. Head into the comment section down below. Let us know which one you want and why. And of course, don't forget to actually cast your vote in the top right-hand corner. And as I said at the beginning of the episode, the vote at the moment going on to last week's votes, it is a very, very, very close thing between staying here and going to the Tyrolean Alps. My personal preference, and yes, I am shamelessly trying to influence it this time, is I'd like to go to Tyrolean Alps to finish up, because this is going to be our very last series here on FS17. I would like to finish out on Tyrolean Alps. It's a very different type of map. It's very, very steep. It's a small farm as well, and I just think it would be really entertaining to play on that map. But it is still your vote. If you don't want to go there, then you vote for something else. Just keep in mind that the this one and Tyrolean Alps are the ones that are really winning the votes. The others have got nowhere near the number of votes that these 2 maps have got. You feel free to vote for one of them, but you may have to be quite persuasive in the comment section in order to get everybody else to vote along with you, and in order to get that map. But anyway, that's all we got time for. So if you've enjoyed the episode, then please head down below and give us a like. And if you really enjoyed it, then please tell your friends all about me. Get them to come and watch as well. That would be awesome. And until next time, thank you very much for watching. This is Frithgar. Goodbye, and see you later.